Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mallory or Mal, and I go by the brand name Trendy Vintage Classic on all platforms. Instagram, Poshmark is Trendy Vintage C, YouTube obviously, just everywhere, TikTok. And I love to create reselling content. So today, again, we are talking about whatnot. And as you can read in the thumbnail, I am going to tell you about my sale where I made over $200 in 2 hours. And I'm also going to teach you how you could do it as well. So, as you know, or maybe not, I primarily focus on women's clothing and fashion, okay? Now, that has been my YouTube content and going into whatnot and Poshmark, my focus. But I started as an eBay girl. Like, eBay is my #1 favorite platform. It has its ups and downs. I know it gets annoying, but I started selling everything and anything: books, collectibles, holiday decor. My favorite being holiday decor, okay guys? So when I decided, so I was getting a little frustrated, let's rewind, with the women's category on whatnot. And if you are on the women's category and whatnot, you have noticed that it's oversaturated, okay? And I've talked about this in my past videos, and I talk about having to be creative and unique. And I'm okay with that because I don't want to sell what everyone else is selling. I don't want to sell stuff from palettes from Free People, new with tag. Like, that's boring to me. I want to find unique items, vintage, things like that, okay? Great. I have my Mondays with Mal, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've committed to that once a week, regardless. At the moment, I am having a Posh onboarding soon, so I will be doing Posh Lives as well. However, with that being said, I know us resellers are kind of in this predicament where we're thinking about, okay, everyone's telling us live selling is now the way to go. We have to do it. We have to be on board. Obviously, do what you're comfortable with. But I'm going to share some good news, okay? I believe that if you want to be successful and maybe you don't have access right now to large liquidation items, maybe you can't sell brand new attack items starting at $1, that's okay, okay? Everyone's version of success is going to look different here. So I decided, hey, why not run a Christmas or holiday vintage item show, because I have a lot of stuff around the house. This tree may be bothering you. I don't know. Maybe I'll put a little Santa to the side. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. And it's still sticking out. Anyway, you don't care. So I went to a fill a car sale for $20, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I filled the car up. I also talked about this on my last video, so I'm not going to bore you guys. Anyway, he had lots of vintage items, okay? And so here's what I did. I loaded the store very quickly. Trick #1 is that you want to be as efficient as possible, okay? Load your store quickly. All they need to see is one picture. If you're doing clothing, you don't always need a picture. But for these items, guys, I got so many new follows and bookmarks because collectors were looking for things. Now remember, whatnot started as a collector's platform. It's buyers. When it opened up to the women's category, it was targeted and promoted and marketed to resellers. Keep that in mind. So naturally, you may see a less profit margin with the clothing than if you're selling to someone who's a collector. So collectors will pay money for what they want, okay? And if you're a collector, you know what I'm talking about. So for instance, so I had boxes of like Santa Claus vintage things. Some things were so old. I'm going to try to pop some pictures up here. I may have just snapped a picture. So I was trying to load the store quickly because here was my experiment. If this takes me hours to do, is it worth the money? Like, because time is money. So if I take 2 hours loading the store, that's 2 hours I could have been working. And then I have to factor that into how long this show really did take me, because I titled it 2 hours over $200. So with that being said, that did not include shipping time, which is a little longer when you are packing breakable hard goods. Okay. So the shipping did take me a little longer. Either way, I was excited to do it. It was a really fun show and I made so many new friends. So when you go to list, so be as efficient as possible. Okay. Number one. So if you just have this little item here, I'm doing another show. I just clicked one little picture of it, described it quickly, so that I knew what I was shipping out because I had so many Santa Clauses. I had to differentiate between them. So I had to be specific, like holding trumpets so that I could pack the right item, right? Have your scale next to you, weigh it properly. And with hard goods, you have to make sure you're adding that extra cushion for securing your item so that you don't go over the shipping. And research, if you don't know what something is, research it a little bit, because I did definitely have this weird little rubber Santa that I thought was super beat up. And I was like, guys, this Santa Claus has been through it, and everybody was laughing. And I was like, I don't even want to run it. And they're like, run it. So I started at $1. I was like, it's beat up. I'll start it at $1. That little Santa ran up like, people wanted it. And then I find out later, like, those are really hard to find. So that was fun. That was cool. You know, I didn't have to take the time to research it or post it on eBay. It's not like I lost hundreds of dollars. I mean, maybe I could have got $20 more for it on eBay, but whatever. So, second of all, when you post, so when you're preparing for your show, you want to be efficient and just quick, okay? When you're posting your show, you want a good thumbnail with maybe a picture of the category you're in, an item of the category you're in. It doesn't have to be your own, with the date and everything on there. And then you want to load your store. So I started getting I literally got 100 new followers from this one show because this is not my category, right? So people don't know me, they don't follow me. So I got so many new followers, which was super exciting from that one show. And I'm looking forward to doing it again next week and getting more friends. And not just followers, like I made some friends and then they came to our clothing shows, you know, me and my moderators, and, you know, so we made new friends and we had fun. So yeah, so you definitely want to load your store, at least a picture, because when it's vintage stuff, they want to see what they're getting. You will get people who bookmark it and follow you right away because they're looking for this stuff. If you have true vintage items that are collectible and somewhat worth something. I'm not saying it has to be worth a ton, but you know, people have to want it. So I have, okay, look at this guy, right? He's on wood. He's a Santa. Look at his basket. A lot of the stuff I had was either like just super intricate. Look at this sack here. So this is not something that sold. So, right, I packed everything already. This show was like a week ago. You can barely see his face, but it's hard plastic, guys. So I have about 5 of these, right? And I sold 3 of them on the last show and they seem to be a hit. So I'm selling the next 2, okay? They're just very intricate with him like holding the bag of gifts and how the gifts just are so nostalgic for me. So I know they are for other people. So this guy will be in my next show. Something like this. You could tell by the face. The face just looks different. You know, you can tell it's vintage. So I am incorporating all holidays and seasons because vintage collectors don't care. It's not just going to be Christmas stuff. It'll be everything. So, okay. Here's my breakdown. Excuse me while I look at my laptop. So I gave you a couple tips. First tip, be efficient with the loading your store. Second tip, have a good thumbnail with a great catchy picture of a vintage item that you're selling with the date and time and your time zone on there and your username and on whatnot if you're going to promote it on Instagram, because they won't know what you're talking about if you just say 2 o'clock show, you know. So you promote it, you use the hashtags vintage for sale, Christmas vintage, all that. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3, I will say, do pin a giveaway in the beginning, because remember, if you are not in this category, this is going to allow you to gain a lot of followers. And for $4, which is what it costs to send something lightweight, to me, it was worth gaining a lot of followers because they have to follow you to enter the giveaway. So those are my 3 tips. But anyway, now we're going to get down to the numbers. So I sold a total of $248 from 25 items. So 248 divided by 25 is $9.92. That's about $10 per item. That's pretty good when you consider some of the items were smaller. Some of the items were items that I was just selling for $1, like a vintage pencil that was Christmas-like, and some items sold for more. So I thought that was amazing. After my whatnot fees, I earned a total of $206.34. $206.34. And this is for a 2-hour show, guys. So that's like $100 an hour. Now, yes, we have to consider prep time. Honestly, my prep time was only 30 minutes because I was very quick. And like I said, I have sold vintage in the past, so I am knowledgeable about most of the stuff, and I knew what to include. I include the year. Another tip, when you're loading your store, include the year of whatever it is. So like if it's this little guy, right? You look at the tag. What's important is the tag, WB. So you'd put WB 1988 or whatever, so that people already know if they want to pre-bid, they can pre-bid. I did have some pre-bids, and I don't usually get pre-bids with clothing, so I did have some pre-bids. And you have to put the starting price now. That way people know what to pre-bid at. I had someone pre-bid a little lower than my starting bid, so I just ignored it and typed in my starting bid, and the person honored it because I'm not going to start lower than my starting bid. So yeah, 25 items sold, $248, $206.34 after fees. Now, for me, let's say this took me, that would be $100 an hour just from the show time. Now, I took a half an hour to prep the show. I took an hour to ship. It did take me longer to ship because I am meticulous. I want to make sure everything gets to everyone perfectly, and everything did get to everyone perfectly. Everything has been delivered. Everyone is happy with their orders. Everything, I described it perfectly. You point out flaws. I pointed out every flaw that there was, and even put it in the description if there's a flaw, so they can't come back and say, you know, honestly, I really suggest branching out, guys. We're getting a little discouraged in the clothing community, and I took a little break off of Whatnot for a week, and because it was just too consuming and I needed to focus on other platforms. And when I came back, a lot of my friends on there stated that it was a very slow week. And so when things like that happen, think about what else you have that you can sell. Do your kids have stuffed animals, plush that they don't want, old toys? Do a toy pop-up, do a plush pop-up. I did a plush pop-up and made almost $200 in like an hour. And it was unplanned. It was just stuff I had because, as I said, I started as an eBay reseller. So I do have lots of stuff. I just kind of put it to the side and wanted to focus on clothing. And let me tell you guys, that did hurt me financially. I will be honest, it hurt me financially to completely focus on clothing and put everything to the side. You know, I would sell books, everything. And then being on Whatnot totally consumed my life. And so that's another thing, guys. Yes, you want to support your friends, but you need to get your listings done first. So I'm coming here just sharing some encouragement that there is opportunities to branch out, make new friends and followers, and make some more money and income on Whatnot with live selling. I think that this is the best thing about Whatnot, honestly, because there's no other place that I could just do a pop-up with something so specific like a vintage decor and sell it. This stuff could take up to 2 years on eBay to sell. Some of these items are longer tail items, things that are collectible, a little more expensive. You got to wait for the right buyer, right? So Whatnot does have an excellent opportunity here for these type of categories because it was built for these type of categories, guys, okay? So take advantage that you are accepted on Whatnot, that you're a seller, and that you have the opportunity to do it. So go to a thrift church store, okay? That's where I get a lot of my plush for like a quarter, 50 cents, $1. All right, go to those places, do your research. There's plenty of YouTubers, specifically the Homeschooling Picker. She does a wonderful video on toys that are valuable, collectibles. So they're out there. These collectors are out there, so take advantage of it, okay? I want to show you a few of the items that did sell, just so you know. So as I told you, these tall Santa Clauses, like with wooden bottoms, carrying gifts, very intricate. They sold well. I sold some plush. I don't know if I have pictures of the items because I literally, you know how you take the picture on the spot? I won't do that again. For this next show, I did take the picture in photo room and then add it so that I have a photo of the item that I sold because I don't think I have. So I had a vampire plush from Hallmark that was vintage, okay? That just sold for $2. I'm trying to liquidate my plush. Pencil topper, $1. Okay, there was a hand-knit Santa sack that was like a barnyard, and it had like handmade little animals in it. That sold for $15. I had a small vintage Santa for $8. Guys, I had one of my favorite things that I sold where I had 3 made in Sweden wooden base Santas. Now, not just Santas, like there was a grandma holding a baby and she was in a rocking chair. There was a Santa sledding. Someone wanted all 3 of them. She wanted the whole family, guys. And if you ever see wooden handmade, where it says made in Sweden on the bottom, pay attention and pick it up, all right? Because, yeah, people look for that stuff. And so I had somebody pay, I'm looking for it right now. Oh, this was its vintage apron. I had a vintage holiday apron and it had a Christmas pattern on it. I started it at $6 and they ran it up to $15. I only paid $1 for that. I know I am blessed that I have places around me that I get stuff inexpensive. So I will talk about that last, actually, what my cost of goods were, because it was basically nothing. So I did sell this Christmas spoon rest, 1959 Holtz Howard. I started at $14 and it ran up to $21. There was a vintage Christmas spoon rest. It was very pretty. And someone actually gave that to me, so that was free. The Santas, the wooden Santa went to $23, which was good. A very small one sold for $6, and then the other one sold for $14. Okay, now, like I said, I could have gotten more for those, but the buyer, it was one buyer and she bundled them all and she got other stuff. So remember, when you have like 1 or 2 items that somebody likes, put your really good and attractive items first, so that once somebody buys and they know they have discounted shipping, they're going to want a bundle. So she ended up ordering 6 items because she really wanted the 3 made in Sweden wooden Santa Claus. Yeah, so was there anything else noteworthy? Yeah, the plastic Santa. Like I said, if you see like a plastic Santa, like a ball, it was like a ball and it was plastic. And he had some type of material on him. It wasn't felt. It looked like felt and like it was cracking. And that's the one that I didn't think anyone wanted, and they paid $17 for it. So you never know. Anything else noteworthy? Oh, I did have a plug-in Casper, like legitimately Casper, 1995. It lit up. That went for $17. Now, let me tell you, all of this stuff, I basically say it's free because, like I said, when I did that fill a car for $20, I filled the car for $20. I picked up every single Santa I could get. I picked up like everything. Or some of these items were maybe $1 somewhere. So honestly, guys, if you do the math, I had like what? I made $206.34. I probably had $6.34 into it, and I'm being honest. So I made $200. Guys, there are opportunities out there for free items all the time. At my church thrift stores, a lot of times they have free items out after the season is over. For example, they just had all the Halloween stuff for free, okay? Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Opportunities are everywhere. Don't get discouraged and branch out. That is my advice for today. If you have any questions about anything, leave it in the chat and I will be more than willing to help you. I did have somebody say my last video was no help, so I'm here to help you. Message me, find me on Instagram, leave it in the chat. I am sorry that I'm getting back to messages pretty late. I have been sick and overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, so I will be better, and I'm getting better with this YouTube thing about checking it daily. So please be patient and work with me. If you enjoyed this content, please do me a favor and like the video. Please subscribe. Hit the alert button so you're notified when new videos drop. And if you are not on Whatnot, use my link in the description to join. You will get a free $10 to go shopping, okay? And this is just to be a buyer, If you would like to be a seller and you need help, we can talk and message me about a seller referral. We're not really just supposed to refer anybody, so I would have to take a look at your store and everything and, you know, make sure you're a good fit for it. So yeah, thank you. And find me on Instagram and come say hi to me. Find me on Whatnot, Mondays with Mal. Come say hi to me. I love it. Every Monday, somebody comes on and says, hey, I found your YouTube channel and it was helpful. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I appreciate you. See you next time.